It's my faith that leads me to this journey. I believe we're each put here for a purpose. And we have a duty to realize that purpose. And so I believe God has given each of us those unique gifts. I looked myself in the mirror last year, Apoorv and I both did, to say, how are we going to use the gifts we've been given to do our maximum positive for this country? Is that a topic, by the way, people would be interested in hearing about at all? Is my faith? I sometimes get questions on that. Is that of interest to people? Thank you. It's important to me. It's what leads me to this journey. So I'm Hindu, just so you're all aware, which is different than traditional Christians who have been the usual, obviously background of someone running for U.S. president. I went to St. Xavier High School, which is a Christian school in Cincinnati. So I can tell you this with confidence when I say this, and I did well in religion class. So I can tell you this with confidence, is we share the same value set in common. My faith teaches me that God puts each of us here for a purpose, that He works through us, and that it's our moral duty to realize that purpose. And even though He works through us in different ways, we are still equal because God resides in each of us, because we're equal in the eyes of God. That's the heart of my faith. And now as an adult, I'm actually really much more grateful for the upbringing my parents gave me. I had what you would call not a traditional upbringing, but a very traditional upbringing. My parents taught us that family is the foundation. Marriage is sacred, that it's between a man and a woman, that divorce isn't just some option you select off a menu when things go wrong, that the good things in life involve a sacrifice, that adultery is wrong, that abstinence before marriage is the way to go, that it's not just about this life, it's about our eternal life. When I got to St. X High School, by the way, I was in 9th grade, 14 years old in scriptures class, read the 10 Commandments for the first time. What did they say? There's one true God. Don't take His name in vain. Observe the Sabbath. Honor your parents. Don't kill. Don't lie. Don't cheat. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Don't covet. It didn't feel like I was reading those values for the first time. They are the values, the Judeo-Christian values that this country was founded on. So, to state the obvious, would I be the best person to spread Christianity through this country as your next president? Probably not. For a lot of reasons, among them that I don't think that's the job of the U.S. president. The job of the U.S. president is to swear an oath to the Constitution, including to stand for religious liberty, so that pastors actually are able to do their job freely. But will I be the president who stands for those values that I think we've forgotten and left behind in this country? You're darn right I will. I view that as my responsibility as a young person, actually, to bring it back to your question. I think as somebody who's 38 years old, it's my job and my ability to make faith and family and patriotism and hard work cool again in this country, actually. That's how we live our life as a family. That's the values we're passing on to our kids. 25% of kids today are born in a fatherless home. 8 times as likely to end up in jail or not to graduate from high school, or 10 times more likely to end up in poverty if you grow up in a fatherless household. Sometimes people look at the life we live now and they'll ask, did you grow up in privilege? No, I didn't grow up in economic privilege. But now I actually don't answer that. I resist it. Before I would, say, I didn't grow up in privilege. Actually, you know what? I did have privilege. 2 parents in the house with a focus on education and instilling in us a belief in God. And I don't think it's wrong to want every kid in this country to have that similar opportunity. Just because you grew up in a single-parent household doesn't mean you're doomed, and we should have a system that allows people to live their opportunity. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't root for the nuclear family and the revival of faith and belief in patriotism and in our country. That is an ultimate gift that I want every kid in this country to enjoy. And I think that's half the job of the next U.S. president, actually. It's not just about policy. We get a lot of questions about policy. This is actually interesting. We had a little bit more of some personal questions today. Usually I'm just taking questions on policy, right? What's your legal authority, which is good. What's your legal authority to shut down these agencies? Great, I'll tell you. We have the clearest plan to do that. What's your foreign policy? Avoid World War III. Declare independence from China. We haven't talked about that. I'm big on that. Secure our own homeland. Something we haven't done. That's half the job. But the other half of the job, I would even go so far as to argue the more important part of the job, where we are right now as a country, is to revive our national character. To answer who we are as Americans. I'm all in for the America First agenda. I believe, just as a father, my moral duty is to my family. As your next president, my sole duty is to you, the citizens of this country, not any other one. But to put America first, we have to rediscover what America is. And I think that's going to take a president who is able to not just go through the motions, but also to, you know what, I'll say it this way. I want you to hold me to a high standard. I want you to be able to look your kids in the eye and tell them, I want you to grow up and be like him. Whoever that is in the White House, I want you to hold them to that standard. That's a standard we will hold ourselves to, and I think that's what's going to be required to revive our national character as well.